Whatever we once were, we are no longer a Christian nation. Whatever we once were, we are no longer a Christian nation. Now, I may be opposed to abortion for religious reasons, to take one example, but if I seek to pass a law banning the practice, I can't simply point to the teachings of my church or evoke God's will. I can't simply point to the teachings of my church or evoke God's will. So before we get carried away, let's read our Bibles now. Folks haven't been reading their Bible.
Seniors told they can't pray before meals. Officials said Friday the meals they are contracted by the city to provide to Ed Young visitors are mostly covered with federal money, which ushers in the burden of separating church and state. On Thursday, the usual open prayer before meals at the center was traded in for a moment of silence. The senior citizens vice president said some of his staff recently visited the center and noticed people praying shortly before lunch was served. He said his company provides meals like baked chicken, steak tips, and rice and salads at a cost of about $6 a plate. Seniors taking the meals pay 55 cents, and federal money pays the rest of the bill. You can't scoff at their rules, he said. It's part of the operational guidelines. The moment of silence was introduced to protect the funding. He said although the change may have been misinterpreted, perhaps his company could have done a better job at selling it. It's interpreted that we're telling people they can't pray. But we aren't saying that, he said. We're asking them to pray to themselves, have that moment of silence. Give me a break. They are completely asking them to stop praying. By saying you cannot speak the Lord's name out loud, and by saying that you cannot pray to the creator of the universe out loud, but instead you have to mute your voice, you are most definitely saying you can't pray. Mayor Jones said he was outraged by the change and has promised to find a solution. Quote, "It was one of the hardest things I ever did as a mayor, is to look those people in the eyes and ask them to be patient with me and honor their God in a moment of silence until I can have a resolution to this. For me to look at their eyes and tell them they can't thank their God for their food, it's unheard of. I can't take it." Jones said he flirted with the idea of ending a contract the city has with the Senior Citizen Inc. The best answer right now is that we're trying to get the best information possible, and legal counsel is looking at what would happen if we continue to pray. It's a bad place to draw a line in the sand. This is, in my view, an unnecessary intrusion into the private lives of individuals. Yeah, this is only the beginning. Just keep watching because we're going to see more and more of this kind of thing. If they get away with this, which they already are, the next thing will be, if you bow your head and look like you're praying, you're going to get shot, just like in the Holocaust. History repeats itself, and we are on the verge of repeating history all over again. Anger over reality television, Virgin Auction. An Australian documentary maker is trying to convince several young people to appear in a reality television program in which they auction their virginity to the highest bidder. Justin was forced to move the auction from Australian state of Victoria to Nevada in America after authorities said they would charge him with prostitution if the filming went ahead. So apparently that's not okay in Australia, but bring on Sodom and Gomorrah to the United States of America, right? They have gone public with the controversial project, claiming to have at least one willing participant. First Family Senator Steve Fielding described the documentary as absurd, ridiculous, and disgusting. The virgins will be paid $20,000 each to take part in the action and will also receive 90% of their sale price, according to the report. Who knew that you could put a price tag on your virginity? The ways they're finding to make money these days. Initial bids will be placed online, but bidders will attend the final part of the auction, coming face to face with people whose virginity they are bidding for. One 21-year-old woman from Sydney who used the name Veronica said she has signed up for the auction to earn money and challenge traditional perceptions about sex. Quote, "Technically, I'm selling my virginity for money. Technically, that would be classified as prostitution, but it's not going to be a regular thing. So in my head, I can justify that I'm not going to be a prostitute," she told the paper. "I don't think I'll regret it." One of the prospective male virgins, identified only as Alex, said he's applied as a way of meeting someone. Well, that's certainly the way to find your soulmate to be, isn't it? Justin admitted his plan was unpopular with the parents of the people involved. Quote, "They hate me," he said. So apparently the show could not be aired in Australia. Well, isn't that nice of the United States of America to say, "Oh shoot, Justin, you have a really gross, abominable show. You can't get it to air in Australia? I'll just bring it over to the United States of America. We'll promote selling your virginity. We'll promote prostitution. Just bring it over to Nevada. We'll air it." Pretty soon, the song "God Bless America" is going to fall on deaf ears. God's only going to bless this country and this nation if they are doing His will and obeying His commandments. It's one thing to disobey. It's another thing to promote sin and make money off of abominable things such as selling yourself for money on television for other young people to be influenced by. You're entering into an entirely new realm when you do things such as this. Judgment is coming upon this country. And it's coming soon. For more reasons than one. Comeday Central, developing Jesus Christ cartoon. Comeday Central might censor every image of the Islam prophet on South Park, yet the network is developing a whole animated series around Jesus Christ. As part of the network's upfront presentation to the adversaries, Comeday Central is set to announce JC, a half-hour show about Christ wanting to escape the shadow of his powerful but apathetic father and live a regular life in New York City. In the show, God is preoccupied with playing video games while Christ, the ultimate fish out of water, tries to adjust to life in the big city. When asked if the show might draw some fire, especially coming on the heels of the network's decision to censor the Muslim faith religious figure on South Park, Alterman said it's too early in the show's development to be concerned about such matters. "We don't even know what the show is yet," he said.